Hey everyone, welcome to Amberg Acres. The bow hunting season is well in swing here. We're a couple weeks in. I went out, let's see, I think it was Sunday night or Sunday afternoon before the Packer game against Dallas. I went out. I don't know, probably about, 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30. A nice 8-point buck came out into the field. I'm going to put a clip in here of this buck. But what I want to tell you first is that is the biggest buck we've had on this property this year on any of our cameras. So if he would have walked by me, yes, I would have shot him, you know. And a lot of guys think that that's not a good thing to do, but he ain't going to be here next year. So that's the way it works around here. There is no other deer coming yet, you know. I don't know how else to say that, but so this year I have two twin 8-pointers. They're both about the same size, and the guy that hunts back here, he's seeing basically the same deer, you know. So if I don't shoot him, somebody else is going to shoot him. Okay, that was basically my target buck for the year, and that would have been my opportunity to shoot him was Sunday night. But I had a major equipment failure, so I like to review products whenever I can. Okay. And I do not get these products from the customer or from the company that makes them. I do not get these products. These are products that I went out and bought thinking that they were going to work for me. The product that let me down is this chair right here. This is the Muddy swivel chair. I want to say it was around $80, or that's what it's going for now. I bought this a couple years ago, but it's around $80. At Fleet and Farm or any of the other stores that carry chairs like this. So the first issue I had with it right out of the box is it seems like it's made for a kid, you know. There's no size to it at all. It's very flimsy. The backrest leans back way too far. You know, so you're sitting like this here, you know, when you're sitting up there in a stand, which is not good for me having a bad back. So I had to put these blocks of wood under here so that it sits up straighter so that I can sit vertically and not hurt my back out there. So that was the first issue. Second issue is that the thing squeaks like crazy. When you're sitting on here and you try spinning, so I was facing out the back of the Pablo stand when that buck came out in the field, and I just kind of turn around and I can see that wood line right there along that what would that be, the east side of the field, and I saw there were some deer standing up there, so I spun around, and when I spun around, this thing let out a screech. Okay, well, right away I was busted by that buck. He just sat there, and he's still probably, that's at least 100 some yards away from me. You know, I zoomed in with my camera to get this video clip that I'm going to show you right here. So he dialed me right in as soon as he heard that screech. He looked right at me. So by that time now I had my phone out and I was filming him. That what is that? S24? Yeah, I think this is a S24. The camera is excellent on there for zooming in and getting something that far away and making it look nice yet. So with that camera, you know, I was perfectly still at that time, but he knew something was up and he was not going to stay in that field, so he left. The other two deer, there were two or three, I think there were four all together were out there that night. So they kind of went with him at first and walked away, and then within, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, they were back out in the field, but he never did. So I'm assuming he was standing in there somewhere just waiting for dark, and then he came out. Now, my game cameras that I have in that area did not show him come back out, but that doesn't mean anything because he can, I've got a lot of pictures or videos on those game cameras where he's just standing off to the side and the other deer are right there in front of the camera eating. So you can't put nothing into that, you know, that I didn't see him on a game camera coming back out in the field. He probably did after dark. Okay. If you're going out and looking for a hunting chair, do not buy this chair. I did one a few years back where I threw it out the window of my stand. That was a Sportsman's Guide chair. It was a very similar type chair. So right now, the only chair that I recommend is the Millennium. I have that in my other stand over there, and that one so far, it's going on 3-4 years. Maybe I've had that one in there, maybe longer. And so far that chair has not let me down, okay? But these other ones are junk, and I don't know if you guys got any recommendations, you know, for a swivel chair, because I want to be able to 360 in my blinds so that I can see out all 4 windows. If you have any recommendations, the Millennium chair is very expensive. That's why I haven't gone and bought another one, but I'm seriously thinking about it, you know, to go get another Millennium chair. So if you have any recommendations, put it in the comments. So what we're going to do here is the rest of this video is going to be September game camera pics. So you'll see this buck on there several times. He frequents the area behind the Pablo stand, and that's why I was sitting down there. I've been out there, what, four or five times since the opener, and I've seen 2 bucks now in behind the Pablo stand there. So I felt that that's my best spot to sit to see this 8-pointer. And of course that night he came out on the other end of the field. It is what it is. So I'm gonna start using the other stand just because I don't want to burn out the Pablo stand. So give the deer a break that they don't think that that's a bad area there. Or I hope I'm wording that right, you know. They learn from your mistakes. So if he saw me there, I want to stay out of that stand for a while so that he gets comfortable coming back out in that field. It helps to have more than one stand that you can go sit in. So I got 3 stands up right now, and I want to add a couple more. I have two other places where I want to add some more blinds. I like the blinds because I don't like the cold weather. And even though we've been having nice weather this year, the cold weather's coming. Once it gets to November, I have a hard time sitting out there without some kind of heater going on in that blind. So that's why I like using the blinds. So I got 2 other spots that I'm going to probably make some blinds for with all this scrap wood that I got laying around here. I hope you enjoy these videos that I'm putting out. The game camera videos are really special to me because I like watching the deer, and the spot, one of the spots where I'm going to put a stand is in that corridor area, and you'll see that in these clips here. They seem to really be hanging in there. Now I made that area over the winter. I cleared out a couple trees and just made an open area, and I tried planting power plant in there, but it didn't grow because I couldn't get in there. It was too wet in spring. I couldn't get in there with anything to put the seed down properly, so none of it really grew. So what's growing in there is just natural weeds and grasses and whatever that are natural to the area. So it seems to be a very good spot. The deer seem to be hanging out in there. And the other reason is probably because it's secluded. It's inside the woods, you know. So that's one area where I'm going to try and put another stand, okay? So if you like these videos, you know, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next one.